Welcome to the podcast, Kill Complacency. Here we inspire intentional living by motivating others to handle hard better. And here's your host, Marty Hofmann.
Today we have the second part of Carlos's story on some of the things he's tapped into here in America with not only basketball, which his goals were NBA, but now using that to serve others, but also hearing about how he has gotten into real estate and how that has become a big part of his life. So just inspiring to hear how somebody can come to America and do so much for themselves when they work hard and pursue big things. So hope this is encouraging to you and inspiring you to handle hard better and live intentionally. Thank you for listening. I want to rewind just a little bit. Your basketball academy, you had to shut that down during COVID.
Mm-hmm.
When did Orange County open up again where you could do that again?
Towards the end of 2020, things started to kind of like opening up again. Like you were allowed to do outdoor training, things like that. And because my real estate took off, I kind of like I kind of put the academy in the back burner, and I lost a bunch of kids because we weren't playing games anymore. Sure. And I had like two coaches, and it was like just kind of like a little side extra cash monthly, you know, like I wasn't too worried about it because real estate was taking off and had already taken off. So it wasn't until like mid 2022 when I was like, okay, I'm already established in the community. Like we're getting kids every single month without any marketing, without anything, literally just word of mouth. It would be silly of me not to really like grab this thing by the horns and like blow it up without a lot of work. So mid 2022, that's when I kind of like took the reins back, and I had already had staff for my real estate company to where like I can kind of like operate both without having to be super hands-on. So I blew that up. Like we've been growing like crazy. And I have teams in place for both companies to where like both can operate smoothly and continue to grow on pace.
Carlos, I want to hear about, say, March of 2020 to January of 2021, because it sounds like you didn't make any money then, right? You refunded a bunch of people. You didn't make any money in real estate. How hard was that?
It was tough. It was tough. Yeah, I was going through a breakup too. It was one of the hardest times. It was one of the hardest times of my life, to be honest. Like it was, yeah, like looking back. Thankfully, I didn't experience any death, like any with COVID and the family or anything like that. Thankfully, but just obviously the isolation. Not having any income. Like I'm somebody that I'm go like all day every day, like, you know, I'm waking up at 4 a.m. working out, going to meetings, like making things happen, and all of that being taken away. It was crushing. It was crushing for sure. But at that point I had no other option but to make things happen. And every day I would wake up, show up to the office, and I wouldn't leave until 9 p.m. Like I will be having conversations on the phone until 9 p.m. And I will listen through conversations and talk. And I was very determined to get a deal. I needed to. I didn't have any other option. I even tried starting a marketing agency like on the side because I needed some income, which I did make couple $1,000, but it just shows like, and I was trying to make things happen, and eventually I did.
And you were persistent, right? I mean, a lot of people could have thrown in the towel at that point, said, you know what, this isn't working. I'm going back to Mexico.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah. Most
whatever.
people, most,
But
most
you were,
people, like I see it all the time. Like I've been fortunate enough to work with a lot of mentees, a lot of students, a lot of new people that are trying to get into the business. And yeah, there's not a lot of resiliency there. After 1 or 2 months,
Mhm.
they're calling it quits and they're jumping to the next new thing they see on YouTube.
Yeah. So, and then I was kind of picking up mid 2022 was when you started the basketball, started ramping that up again. And that's when interest rates started going up, right?
Mm-hmm.
So did real estate slow down for you at all
2023,
with flips? Probably
2023 did, yeah.
2023.
So between 2021 and 22, we did like over 100 flips, and then 2023
Mm-hmm.
with interest going up, we added the wholesaling. So we started wholesaling. We were already doing wholesaling local, but no nationwide. So 2023 we expanded to other markets out of state, and then we only did like 20 something flips, and then we did about like
Okay.
40 something wholesale deals. So we focus more on the wholesaling because obviously the uncertainty of the market, et cetera, et cetera. We
Yeah.
were trying to just flip paper quicker, so we were able to do that. And then along the way, I picked up some rentals. My partner has picked up some rentals, Airbnbs, long term, and yeah. So now we have the flipping company, the wholesaling company, and then we have we're growing our portfolio of single family rentals.
That's good. I want to just, for our audience who's listening, wholesaling on a house, oftentimes wholesaling in reference to a product is just selling to a secondary market at a cheaper price. But when you wholesale a house, you actually, you would lock it up with a buyer, and then you would turn around and sell it to an investor or somebody at a higher price. And as a wholesaler, then you get the spread in there. So Carlos and I are kind of throwing that term around because him and I both do a little bit of that, but that's what it means to wholesale a house and that's what he just said. He said you flip paper, and that's really all you're doing is you're taking the contract that's signed by the seller and reassigning it to the end buyer, and then you make a little bit of money in the middle.
Yeah,
so
yeah, it's very simple.
Side note, so
It's not easy.
Yeah.
It's not easy, but it's very simple. A lot of people think that they need all these things in place to make it happen, but it's a matter of finding a deal discounted enough to where you can put a little bit of a fee on top and then resell it to the end buyer, which could be a buy and hold investor, fix and flipper, or whatever it might be.
Mm-hmm. Or yourself. I mean, you guys are trying to buy and hold now. You probably are putting some of those in your portfolio, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, finding the deal, it's the machine, it's the foundation of everything, right? Whatever exit strategy an investor does, finding the deal, it's what fits that.
You make money on the front end. Yeah. Yeah. So you kind of pivoted with your real estate. In the meantime, you're building your basketball coaching stuff up. Tell us a little bit about your latest project, what you're attempting to do to build that.
To build the academy, or?
Yeah, the academy itself.
Okay, so we're looking at 1,000 square feet, 20,000 square feet warehouse that we will be building for the academy. We're looking to be a one-stop shop where we can host players from all over the world, or local players, international players. We wanted to have a recovery center, a weight training center. We wanted to have a kitchen, a bunch of basketball courts, and shooting machines. And I wanted to be like a sports center, a very state-of-the-art sports center that will allow us to continue to grow. And I'm very excited. I had a call with the city today. They're looking into the permitting and stuff, and it will be a big project, but very, very exciting things ahead.
You have the building leased already? Is that right?
Not yet. We need the approval from the city first.
Okay. But you're dreaming big.
Yes, always. Yeah. There's no point in dreaming small. For what?
Well, a lot of people do. A lot of people are happy with it, and that's okay, I guess. I mean,
Yeah, no,
better to
that's
dream a
absolutely,
little.
like, I don't believe everybody's called to do huge things. I believe everybody has different callings, but what I want, not what I want, what I encourage is for, regardless of how big or small your calling is,
Hmm.
to strive to be great at it.
Yeah, for sure. Have you read Benjamin Hardy's book, Be Your Future Self Now?
No, I've heard of it. No.
It's a good one. But he makes a point in there that your future is a lot bigger than you think it is. And if you were to, write what you think it is down, number one, you're probably going to change. Like if you go back to when you're 15 years old and want to get off the couch. How old are you now, Carlos?
31.
31. So 15 years later, there's no way if you'd written about your 20-year-old self or 30-year-old self that you would have envisioned yourself coming to America, playing basketball, owning real estate,
Oh, no.
and having
No
a
way.
basketball
No way.
academy. There's no way.
No way.
But it was one step and another step and another step, and all these things compounded. And that's his point in the book. Like you got to have a view for your future self because it's much bigger than you think it is.
Yeah, and you will hear arguments of like, well, I don't know if I'll be alive tomorrow. Like, what's the point of that? Or like you'll hear like, oh, share your plans with God, and or you want to make God laugh, share your plans, or tell him your plans, or something like that. Something like that. It goes like that. But even then, like, absolutely, I absolutely know that the plan I have or the vision that I have is not gonna play out 100% just like that, right? Because again, there's so many variables, there's so many factors, like like God might have a different plan, etc., etc., etc. However, when you have that vision, when you begin with the end in mind and you're working towards that, that's the whole journey. That's the whole point of this. Like it's like I had in my vision board maybe, like, let's say 5 years ago, like I'm gonna have a marketing agency making 100,000 a month. Like that didn't happen, but then this other area blew up, right? So it's not really about like whether what you write down will happen or not. It's about what you'll create on the journey towards that, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Well, and even like reading a book, like that one book can lead to another book, and pique interest. And I liked what you said about the journey, because the journey is the best part. I ran a marathon on Sunday, and it was a lot of people. But as I got to the start line, not the finish line, the start line, I got emotional, realizing the journey I'd been on to get there. And the race, the marathon, was just part of. It was the end of it. But yeah, I got chills and emotions and goosebumps, and I started praising God that I could be there that day, because the journey is the process that we should want to be on.
Yeah, no.
And I'm sure, like in basketball, right? It's the training.
Yeah, it's not the
you get to game day and it's just applying what you already know.
Yeah, it's not the trophy that you get in the championship. Like it's not the trophy you get in the Super Bowl. It's like it's the early mornings, the therapies, the training, the pushing yourself to exhaustion, like the nutrition, the going to bed early, the not drinking, etc., etc. It's all of that. It's all of that every single day, and then you see it at the end pay off. Like that's the beauty. The beauty is in the journey, and the beauty is in the growth. The beauty is in how much you've changed to be able to earn and deserve that end reward, being the championship or the marathon or the finish line.
Yeah, so true. So true. How do you teach kids that? I mean, how old are your kids that you teach at the academy?
We have 4-year-olds all the way to 18, and it's a challenge, but it's something that we're passionate about, and and we know as a staff and as coaches that we've been put in a position to be able to instill these values and beliefs into these kids. So we really take it upon ourselves to be there for them, and to the way that we talk to them, the way that we teach them, the way that we coach them, the way that we communicate to them, so that in their brain, like as they grow and develop, they can really believe these things: discipline, work ethic, achieving, or working towards something, etc., etc., dealing with the losses, dealing with wins, being humble, etc., etc. Like all of those things that will carry on once they're done playing.
That's cool. The other thing I wanted to ask real quick about is, did you say Young Life? That was a part of your development too?
Yeah, Young Life. Are you familiar with Young Life?
I've heard it a few times, but it's like a campus ministry, right?
Yeah. So it's a ministry outside, like it's its own entity, and then they go into schools. And then they do like weekly Young Life clubs with
like discipleship, right?
Correct. Yeah. They go into campuses, and then they do like a weekly club, someone's house. They'll do games. They'll try to gather as many kids as possible, and then they'll share a little bit of the gospel, like at the end. It's designed to be a place for the non-believers to come in and feel safe and hear and be introduced into the gospel.
So Carlos, was that, I mean, I don't know your testimony necessarily, but was that when you accepted Jesus? I mean, at that point, was it through that ministry that you became a Christian?
It was one of the what's the word, the catalyst of it. I grew up Catholic, and it's very, it's the same Christianity, but the way in which one lives their life, or his or her life, it's sure, a little bit different, right? Like there's not the concept of having a relationship with God was introduced to me through Young Life and through Christianity. Through sure, it wasn't Catholics. You grow up, go to church, go back to your own life, and then Sunday go to church.
It's on Sunday.
You know? Yeah. So
check in, check out.
Yeah. So through my youth, like 17, 18, 19, and going to camp, going to Christian church, that's where I developed my relationship with God, and that's where I would say I recommitted.
Yeah. That's cool. It's always interesting. I mean, that's part of your journey as well, right? And part of what changed for you when you came here, because maybe Young Life is in Mexico, but for sure, the influence was here. So
yeah. Well, no, Young Life was here. Right when I moved here, I was walking home from basketball practice here in the States by myself. I'm hungry. I don't speak English. This car pulls to the side and rolls down their window, and he's like, "Carlos, let's go to Young Life." And it's a girl of one of my classmates, and I'm like, "What is that? What do you mean?" And she's like, "Don't worry, like there's games and there's pizza." And I'm like, "Oh, free dinner? Let's go." So I jumped in the car, and we went, and it was great. I got introduced to everybody, and it was awesome. Great people, and the family that was hosting it was the family that took me in after my aunt was like bye. So yeah, no, it's that whole community has been a huge part of where I'm at today.
That's cool. Most people don't know this, but I was actually a youth pastor for 8 years. So yeah, that's what we did. Every Thursday we would host a meal, and kids would come from high school and they would come eat.
Yeah.
It was just to plant seeds and build relationships and give them some pizza.
Yeah, no, it's a beautiful thing. And you don't really know like how much that can impact a kid, or how much it could help them. Like you never know what a kid is going through at home or anything like that. So I always love when ministries or groups are out there doing outreach, because kids need it, we all
Yeah.
need it as adults even, but kids even more because they're in that developmental phase.
Yeah. Yeah. And I agree. I think it's easy to overlook us as adults. But adults, when you need it too, that community, I'd call it community.
Yeah.
And I think that it's something to fight against right now because we have social media where it's supposed to fill that void, but it's just not the same.
Yeah. No, 100%.
So, Carlos, if I were to ask you what your favorite book or podcast or person of influence is for you, who would you say that is?
My favorite book, I think The One Thing is one of my top. The One Thing by Gary Keller, I believe. Yeah. And then 7 Habits of Highly Effective People was my first book that I ever finished from cover to cover. Like, I was never a reader. I hated reading.
That's a big one.
I hated reading. But the more I study successful people, the more I realized that all of them read. So I forced myself to read. And it probably took me a long time to finish it. But that was my first book ever that I finished. So those two are probably like my top for sure.
I feel like 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, I think, he wrote it in the early 90s. I feel like all the books we have today, people like took a little chapter from that book and wrote a book on it. Because it's so good.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
good.
No, it is. Yeah, I would say those two for sure.
And then my last question for you, Carlos, today is, if you had one message to share with the world, you got one day to live. Like Jonah in the Bible, he had one message for the people of Nineveh, and it was repent or God's going to destroy you. What is Carlos's one message to the world? What do you got?
Man, I have one day. Strive to be the best you can be every day of your life while you're serving and loving other people. I think if we go about our lives that way, we're always looking for that improvement. We're always looking for growth. But how are we impacting others? How are we loving on others? How are we serving others? Which is ultimately what our calling is, I think, by God. Because it really isn't about the big houses and the thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars a month in cash flow or whatever it might be, right? It really isn't about that. It's like, how many people did I impact on my way there? And did I take care of? Did I serve God? Did I take care of my family? Did I take care of my friends, my loved ones, my community, my friendships?
Yeah. That's so good. Yeah. Have you ever heard of Bob Goff?
Yeah, I love that guy.
Yeah, that's his message, right? Like, whatever you do, serve God and serve people, and make that your first priority. Everybody Always is one of my favorite books by him.
Yeah. I haven't read him. I have them in my bookshelf, but I haven't read him. So, but I've heard him. I've heard him speak live twice. So he's great.
Yeah, he's good.
Yeah, he's great.
Well, I appreciate your time, Carlos, and look forward to more accountability with you in the future. And thanks for doing this podcast with us today.
No, thank you guys. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you, Marty, for taking the time and for having me be a guest here. And yes, let's continue to get after it. Let's continue to crush it. God bless.
Carlos, how do we find you? What's your handle?
I'm more active on Instagram. My ad is at Carlos Closes, and I will be starting a YouTube coming shortly. So, but Instagram for sure, TikTok as well, same handle, Carlos Closes. Yeah, send me.
Do you have any? How about your basketball academy? Where do people find you on that?
At UYP, letter UYP hoops.
Hoops. Okay. Sounds good. Well, thank you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Hey, just wanted to thank you guys for listening to the end. In closing, I just wanted to add that if this message resonates with you, if it aligns with your values, and something in it today triggered something, then you can also look me up on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, YouTube. We are really trying to help people live more intentional lives to kill the complacency with which they have subscribed to. I know there's many ways which I get sucked in all the time. So if this is beneficial, follow me there, spread the message, share. And if you want to wear a billboard of a message of kill complacency or live intentionally, then check out my merch store in show notes as well. But it's www.mindsetshop.com. Mindset is with an X, so it's MINDXET shop, SHOP.com, mindsetshop.com. Check it out. Thank you guys so much, and have a great one.
Thank you for listening to Kill Complacency. Follow and share our podcast to change lives and inspire growth.